What's up, guys? So I've had this dream. Not like an actual dream. More like a dream that you have during the day when you're awake. Like a dream in the day. Does that make sense? Am I explaining myself? I don't know. Anyways, I had this dream where I set up a slackline between two cars and I walk across it while the two cars are moving. I got a lot of mixed feedback about this idea. People that I talk to that know anything about slacklining were just like, oh dude, no way, that's like crazy, it's psychotic, like if you fall off you're gonna get run over. Which is valid point. Definitely gonna be dangerous. I personally 1000% think that we can pull it off. I think it's totally doable. I think there's safety measures you can take. I think that the setup totally works, but it would take a really big crew to make it happen, especially because I myself would want 4 different cameras rolling the whole time and trying to capture the whole thing. I basically would try to single-handedly put on a Red Bull documentary about it. The biggest hurdle that I came into with making this thing work is that I just don't have the talent for it. I am not a good slackliner. I'm to the point right now where I just started being able to put up a slackline between 2 trees and walk across it without ropes at a very low height. So I definitely don't have the skill to walk across a slackline. I think I could do it if I were to have a handline up above me that I could hold on to, but I don't think that I should waste a really good idea and just blow it because of my own inabilities and talents. So if you're a really good slackliner and you're nuts like me and you're interested in having a discussion about, could this be done? Could we do it safely and not have any trips to the hospital as a result of it? And if you live in the Salt Lake area, Salt Lake City, Utah, because that's where I am. Drop a comment, DM me on Instagram. There's a form on my website where you can get in touch with me. I'd really love to work with you, and I'd love to try and pull this off. In the meantime, my roommate Josh and I decided to just try it out and see if we could set up a slackline in between our 2 cars. So watch this little montage. So I mean, clearly we got the slackline set up, and we were able to goof off on it and try to walk across it for a minute. I don't think either of us really successfully walked on it. I think we more just kind of stood on it and held on for dear life. But we had a good time anyways, and to quote Josh, it was fun. I'm glad I did it. Because the alternative would be just, I don't know, going wakeboarding or going for a hike in the mountains, these beautiful Utah mountains on an 80-degree Saturday afternoon in June. And just, who wants to do that, you know? It's way more fun to goof off on a slackline. So this is a gear review. Today we're going to talk about the specific slackline that I used for this project. I have the Gibbon Classic Line. Slacklines were invented, I don't know when, but they were mostly used by rock climbers as an activity to do during their downtime, like if it was too windy to climb or everybody was just really tired and they just wanted to hang out at camp. They would set up the slackline using a bunch of carabiners and like a 6-to-1 pulley system, and just like, it was just a lot of work and technical understanding and knowledge just to get these things tight enough so that you could walk across them. So Gibbon, on their About Us page, they talk about how they found ways to simplify the setup process and make it so that more people could access it, because when it was being done by climbers, it was pretty much only being done by climbers because the average Joe didn't know how to set up a 6-to-1 pulley system using just carabiners and webbing. Plus, climbers have this kind of natural balance ability where it was something that they really, really enjoyed and it was really fun for them. So Gibbon was able to engineer some really cool ratcheting systems and devices that make them really, really easy to set up. Like they have instructional videos and things for setting up their slack lines. So Gibbon's products are, they have this big variety of products, everything from the more intro level classic slackline that I use, because I just want something that's going to get my foot in the door and give me a taste of everything that slacklining has to offer. If I'll get to the point where I have the skill level where I can start jumping on the slackline, starting to do a little bit of jibbing on it, and maybe even some surfing is what they call it, I believe. But Gibbon has other slack lines made of different materials and thicknesses and those kinds of things that are much better for surfing and for jibbing and doing these really cool backflips and tricks and stuff that are way outside of my skill level right now. Here's the thing that I like about Gibbon. Gibbon puts a lot of work into educating their customers. They're not just selling you the slackline and then that's it, that's done. They have an app that you can download that will coach you. So Gibbon's app will take you through this process of learning how to slackline, where it'll start you off setting up the slackline closer to the ground, a little bit looser, so that when you step on the slackline, it actually lowers your weight, tensions it, and brings it down so that your feet are actually on the ground. And you're just kind of learning what it feels like to have the slackline underneath your feet. And then once you get to that point where you're comfortable there, then you tighten it up a little bit, you raise it a little bit. And the app coaches you through this progression all the way, whichever way you want to go. If you want to get into some more of the jibbing where you're jumping up and down and doing flips and tricks and that kind of thing, or if you want to do more surfing style stuff where you're riding it back and forth like a wave, they'll take you through this process and give you the tools that you need to do to make slacklining part of your lifestyle. Gibbon wants slacklining to be this bigger thing than just going to the park on a Saturday afternoon and setting up a slackline for a couple of hours and goofing off. Slacklining can be part of your everyday fitness routine. In your bicep, for example, there's more than just the one muscle here that moves your arm up and down. It's more than just I picked it up, I put it down, I picked it up, I put it down. It's more than just that. There are these tiny little balancer muscles inside that help your fine motor skills, like when you're riding or driving a car or just really anything. And so developing those muscles is a really, really good way to improve your overall physical wellness. Gibbon has put work into trying to educate people about this and trying to give you a tool to improve your life in that way. They've gone so far as to create physical therapy programs for injury recovery and those kinds of things, just focusing on finding that balance. Personally, I think that balance is a great improvement for everybody, and I think that slacklining is a really, really good way to do that. It's not just for people who already have really good balance, like climbers and dancers and flamingos. I don't think that you improve your balance by keeping your center of gravity at dead center all the time. I think it's more than just standing on one foot and seeing how long you can hold it. So to illustrate my point, think of your center of gravity as being a dot underneath you on the ground that moves around based on where your shoulders or your hips are positioned. It's always reflecting where your center of gravity is. Now, imagine that there's this invisible circle around your dot. Whenever your shoulders or your hips move and that dot shifts, when it comes outside the circle, that's when you fall over. You have lost your balance, you're outside of your comfort zone, so to speak. Standing on one foot and holding it for as long as you can, you're trying to keep that dot in the center as much as possible. And you can improve your balance that way, but I personally think that the actual improvement comes when that dot starts to sneak over as close to the edge as possible, without going outside of it. When you do that, you start to get an idea for where this circle is and how to engage your muscles so that you can control where this dot is and keep it inside of the circle at all times. I think that slacklining is a really, really great way to push yourself and stretch that comfort zone and really, really find, just increase the stakes of what happens when that dot leaves the circle. On a slackline, you're more likely to fall. You're going to fall. If you're not falling, then you're not learning where that limit is, and you're kind of crippling yourself. So that's why I think slacklining that's why it's really, really fun for me. It translates to everything that I like to do, from rock climbing to snowboarding, wakeboarding, hiking. I have to use balance when I'm hiking. So that's a couple things that I really, really like about Gibbon. I like that they're trying to give you more than just a product. They're trying to give you this tool that you can use in your life as a way to improve your fitness and injury recovery. And it's more to them than just, here you go, here's a product, have fun with it. They're showing you how to progress with it, get better at it, how to maximize your enjoyment in this activity. So for those reasons, I think that if you're considering a slackline to buy, I think you should really, really look at Gibbon. So that's what I think of Gibbon and my Gibbon Classic Line. I really, really like it. It's fun for me. Thanks a bunch for watching. Give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see what wacky ways to test products and review them I can come up with in the future.